Hello, welcome to John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. My initial video was supposed to be made about an upcoming event in Washington, D.C. on June 6th. For reasons I can't explain right now, I need to get back to that at a later date. Hopefully tomorrow. I'm about 3 days behind the videos I was supposed to make. But right now, I think it is more important to speak to all those people who think that they are not being spoken to. Now, with this video, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. I would like to read a quote. You can choose a ready guide and some celestial voice. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. You can choose from phantom fears and kindness that can kill. I will choose a path that's clear. I will choose free will. That came from a song by a group called Rush many years ago. The reason why I quoted this is because in the last election, especially black people stayed at home because they didn't care for Joe Biden and he didn't do things fast enough for them. Since 2016, people like me who didn't have the luxury of an election or voting and hoping that vote counted, we went on a all-out crusade. We contacted many white supremacist groups to challenge them to do what they said they were going to do alone, outside of the media, without all this Trump stuff. So in 2016, I went on a camping trip with a grandson of a card-carrying Ku Klux Klan member in St. Mary's County, Maryland. Now, you wouldn't think, Maryland being a blue state, this would happen. That's another story I need to tell, because I found out some things that people don't know. In 1995 or so, the first protest I attended was one which I had planned a year before. My father turned on the television, and what I saw on the news was the Ku Klux Klan marching down Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. This was 1990 something. So I decided at that point that even though they had a right to free speech, which we don't have right now, we had a right to say we didn't want that in Chocolate City. So a year later, and the year after that, we went down there. And believe it or not, police officers who vowed to uphold the Constitution of the United States in the office they held said they would protect us against the Ku Klux Klan. And this is why, right now, the Ku Klux Klan doesn't march down Pennsylvania and Washington, D.C. Now, this is a tradition that has been taking place since 1960-something, and they did it every year. They don't do it anymore. That's proof positive that standing up does something. Now, I would love to address black Americans right now. I don't understand you at all. I really don't. I'm Native American, I'm black, and I'm also white. And what perturbs me the most is people who say they stand up for democracy and civil rights that don't defend me right now. There are people out there who absolutely believe that their Bible, that they were indoctrinated by when they came here, enslaved, supersedes my rights as an American, as a Native American. They believe that it is okay for the United States of America, under the flag of Israel, to exterminate Palestinians. That's what their Bible taught them. These are black people in America defending this shit. I find that disgusting and totally an affront to my indigenous heritage. Whoever is here in America defending Christian rights and the killing of children by the thousands just because the Bible says it is okay as interpreted by white America is a very uneducated black person. Very uneducated. Perhaps you should do your genealogy and learn your history. And remember a time when those same people telling you you should believe in this stuff raped your ancestors. I'm a product of that. I'm a product of people that went into a sweat lodge, and that was their religion before 1492. I'm a product of enslavement of people from Africa whose religion was not Christianity. Really? And then, as a sidebar, you just latch on to the American government because they told you that the Israel that they colonized belonged to America. So you interpret that as, oh, Israel belongs to Christians and Jews, and they have carte blanche to slaughter people in Palestine. If that's what you believe, you need to stop listening to me and read some books. Absolutely, positively. And I am angry, absolutely angry, at every person that has any ancestor that was black and enslaved that believes this bullshit. You are an absolute tool of the United States government right now. That is why you can't stand up. Because you fear yourself. You know why you fear yourself? Because you're not honest about yourself. You can act black, you can act this and that, and you can talk about Jesus all day long. But if you in any way think that what is going on in Israel since World War II is okay, then you need to kill me right now. Because that is exactly what the United States government tried to do to the Native American. And it is exactly what they're going to do when they're done using you as black Americans. So let's get that straight right now. Now, like I said, I originally made this video to spread a little information. Right now, we need 5 million people to go to Washington, D.C. on June 6th. There are multiple protests taking place, but this day on June 6th is the anniversary of D-Day, when we stormed the beaches of Normandy. Blacks, whites, Native Americans, and anybody who could sign up for the American military stormed the beaches of Normandy to rid Europe from fascists like Adolf Hitler. Now that we have fascism in the United States, if you still sit behind your religion and you want to sit there and say, oh, I don't agree with Biden, I don't agree with that. This is the year 2025. People like Michael Moore and Jamie Raskin have known this since 2016. My last civil rights organization that I founded happened the day that Hillary Clinton got the election stolen away from her by Donald Trump. And I've been working ever since. When are you going to get the fuck up and do your job? That's what I want to know. Plain and simple. So right now, I feel a lot like if those of you were alive during the 1970s, Billy Jack. And if you haven't seen it, you need to really look at those movies. I have tried and tried and tried to be civil and wait for the process. I want peace. And when I say peace, I don't mean peace throughout the world. I don't need to have to wake up every day and wonder who's going to stab me in the back. Or who's going to, do this or that. But you know what my remedy for that is? And you need to adopt this same thing. Since 2016, every person where I live has been putting up cameras so we can observe this bullshit happen. We've been preparing all around. What you need to honestly think about is how prepared are you? Are you prepared to wait? Okay, that's fine if it works out for you. But we have about 10 years on you. And we are still keeping it going. They want to talk about industry, small business, and things disappearing off of shelves. We're going to have them because we have organized people who could make them. Did you do that when you were waiting for the process? Probably not. But the same place where Mr. Garcia was abducted from, we've prepared. We've also started lawyering up. We've also started putting people out on the streets, outside of people's homes, so that when these clandestine people come and knock on people's doors who don't look like white people, there are people filming with infrared cameras, mind you. Ain't that something? You should have been paying attention, truly. You should have been. And it is just absolutely ridiculous. So, while Trump keeps cutting your services, while he's going to fund a $100 million parade in Washington, D.C. the week after the D-Day March, ask yourself, what do you have to eat? Are you going to be able to pay your bills? Can you get Christmas gifts? Your best bet right now is to run to the nearest person like me and ask where you can get help. You need to invest in minority small businesses, invest in minority doctor practices, and that's where you need to go to get your services, because those are the only people that have been prepared for this. Now, I want to talk about another thing while I'm at it, because I am too through. Do not form these white supremacist groups in Southern Maryland or any other state with the thought that you can, with your group, commit a crime against one individual. These groups are forming everywhere because of Donald Trump. They're little fight clubs. But what they do is they gang up on people and hurt people. So since the Trump administration, MAGA, and people, let's say, that support him, think that manlyhood is defined by lawsuits, hiding behind a bunch of thugs that have to gang up on one person. Let me tell you something. I am in plain view. Plain view. Every single day of my life. And if the best you have to offer to scare me is a lawsuit, or you beat me down in the street with 100 people, you know what that makes you? A pussy. The Republican Party, even in Congress, as they call themselves, but they're not. They're fascists. They're Satanists. And they're communist. What they are is the biggest group of pussies ever comprised in world history. They're a bunch of whiners, punks, bitches, and all that. Not of one of them is brave enough to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue without Secret Service protection. They always need somebody to execute their atrocities against humanity. They don't do it themselves. And to you white bitches up there wagging your head like you're intimidating somebody with your bleach blonde hair, calling yourself white, don't you think for one fucking moment that if you bring your white ass out here where I live, wagging your head without your Secret Service, that anybody is going to think you're anything but a thug, but a criminal, but a traitor, but a Satanist. You are the absolute personification of evil. I'm talking about Christy No. I'm talking about that bitch that does, I don't know her name, the White House press conferences, Pam Bondi, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of you. Since you're so fucking bad and you got so much mouth, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Since you want to kill us all, why don't you do it yourselves? Why don't you say it to my motherfucking face? You see this face? I don't hide it anymore. I used to, because I didn't feel the need to address you. Because you were not worthy of my time. Now that you're killing people in plain sight, I'm talking to you. Stop hiding behind all these details. If Donald Trump wants to have his little parade, let him do it. Let him march down Pennsylvania Avenue like Jimmy Carter with no secret security on his feet. Don't hide behind other people. Don't hide behind a bunch of cowards wearing a badge. If you want to exterminate people that look like me, if you want to exterminate people that work hard and pay taxes, that happen to have a last name you don't agree with, if you want to exterminate black people, if you want to erase black history, then do me a huge favor. Do it in my face. If you can't do that, that's fine, because I know you're incapable of it. You are absolutely the biggest cowards that ever existed in America. You're not Americans. You're not patriots at this point. The moment you decided you were not going to adhere to the courts and you were not going to respect the United States Constitution, you lost the respect of everyone who have had relatives who served in the American military. Now, if you're American military and you still want to get out on those streets and you still want to defend Donald Trump, you're going to meet me. And you're going to meet millions of people like me. And they're going to be every color. Because we are done with it. And we are not going to stand for it anymore. So the starting day, I challenge every American, if he wants to put the Insurrection Act in effect, I already told you years ago he was going to do that. So if you're too lily-livered to deal with that on that day, maybe you need to stay home. If you are not prepared to defend with our veterans this country against tyranny, if you are not ready for a revolution, if you are not ready to make sure that your parents, your sisters and brothers, your children and grandchildren live through this next few months, then keep your ass at home. Because what's going to be present on June 6th is those who are ready to stand up to Donald Trump and absolutely, positively defend this democracy. Donald Trump has taken away everything I have. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Be it through COVID, be it through finance, be it through my voting rights, be it through my civil rights. So my choice is not only to speak out, but to stand up on June 6th. Donald Trump is calling for the removal of every Democrat right now in Congress that even spoke about impeaching him. What the fuck are you waiting for? That's going to leave his fascist in there. And they probably have enough votes to do so. So what we are challenged with right now is the rule of law and handing that over to Donald Trump to do with it as he will and interpret it as he will. Or the rule of law that is not applied to us. Once the law violates our rights as American citizens, it is no longer law. So, what laws do you want to adhere to? Theirs or those of the revolution? If you like this video, please like and subscribe. That's not why I posted it, but it is what it is. If the tariffs are going to bother you this Mother's Day and upcoming events like Christmas, I urge you to check out ebay.com/needfulthingsbynick. There you can find affordable things that you can buy as gifts. Also, check out John Brown Alliance on GoFundMe, because we do need funds to continue to do our work. All I can do in the coming days is hope that people do the right thing. I'm no longer worried about Republicans or anybody else doing the right thing. I have to do the right thing. And I'm doing the right thing right now by my country, my race, or races, and my oath as a human being to look after other human beings. You need to do the same. Maybe you need to take your concentration off of your religion and listen to that bullshit that they indoctrinated you into, and hoping and wishing and praying. And maybe you need to consider what all these religious people tell me all the time. God helps those who help themselves. Maybe you need to help yourself. And I'm talking to everyone from the janitor to the teacher to the member of Congress. It's time for you to get up off your ass. Because people like me are not going to be around to take up for you for much longer. The fight is on. I know where my fight is. I know where my spirit is. And I know I'm going to die protecting the people that I love. If you're not willing to do the same, then you don't need to be listening to me talk right now. This is John Brown Alliance. Until next time.